In my last video, I talked about the patriarchy and how it affects Cody. In this video, I want to talk about something I observed with him and his relationship with his bros, like the fellas, the guys, when you're hanging out with your homies and was it bros before the ladies or bros before the 304s, 304s, you can figure it out. But the crazy part is that as I watch him with the guys and he's hanging out with the guys and he's super chill, he almost seems more relaxed with the fellas than he does with his wives. He seems more like himself. He seems more jovial. He seems more open with these guys than he does with these ladies. Now, I think that there's a part of it that maybe at some point this had changed, but just in my experience, when I encounter guys like this, or I have in the past, when I've encountered guys like this who see women a certain way, it's because they categorize those ladies. For the most part, it comes from a place where, at its core, women are pretty much seen as the other, and to be a little more vulgar about it, women are seen almost as, life support systems for their genitalia, is a polite way to say it. It's just, they're basically the heart, lungs, and breath to keep their thing that men are interested in alive. And that's it. They're not seen as people, and they most certainly aren't seen as equals. Now, I don't know Cody. Cody and I are not friends. We're not bros. He's not calling me up on the weekends. We're not chilling over beer. So I want to be very careful about how much of this I'm accusing him of. But just from what I see on the show, that's the impression that I get. Now, some of this could be just a result of him getting involved with these women and the deference that they've given him since he was a very young man. He got with him when he was like 19, 20 years old. Mary was 19, and I think he was like 20, 21. So he married them very young. He probably didn't have a whole lot of experience with women as partners, and he's coming out of that very young age where you're dating women and you're not quite sure how to figure them out if you're an extremely immature person, young man, and you haven't really been around women like that. You keep it to the boys and the girls, like almost like a high school dance. You keep everything separate. And if that's the case, when he was coming up, it's very easy to fall into the slot of, I'm going to do men things with men, and I'm going to do romantic things or husbandly duty things with my wife and the women that I'm involved with. And by having that attitude, it takes away some of the colors in those types of relationships. It makes the relationships a little more black and white or dull and gray. You're going out with these women, you're starting families, and even though you share these very special moments, these aren't the people that you look forward necessarily to hanging out with. These aren't the people that you can completely be vulnerable with. And if the only people that you actually feel relaxed around and you feel like you have the freedom to be vulnerable with are your bros and not your wife, or in Cody's case, your wives, your kids' moms, your paramours, the people that you want to spend your life with, then that creates an incomplete relationship. That creates a very difficult relationship, especially for the guys who are involved with this. And that's really what I'm seeing in Cody's relationship. Like, he comes in, pulls into Mary's house. His buddy Nathan, who is Mary's brother-in-law, he's waiting by the door for Cody to get out of the car. When he gets out, they give a huge embrace. Cody is talking to him. Mary is over there calling him, Cody, try to get his attention to tell him about the 10-foot of ice that is outside her driveway. He came over to help his friend and his friend's wife move furniture from Mary's house that she's given to her sister to their house. So it's not even like he's doing Mary a favor. He's doing his friend a favor. So as he's backing his truck up, Mary's trying to tell him, like, you got 10 feet to bust your ass out here, so you need to just back your truck all the way up so that way you're not trying to walk the furniture across this sheet of ice. And of course, Cody ignores her. He goes over and gives his friend a hug. He gives his friend's wife a hug. He says hi to Mary, and the first thing he says to her is, don't fall down, Mary, and get hurt, which I think is a fair warning because, Mary, if you would have fell down and got hurt, you was on your own. Okay, you thought when you got sick, you was in there by yourself? Or things happened and you had to stay in the house by yourself. If you get hurt, Kody is not coming to visit you, bring you soup or nothing else. You are on your own. When he was dealing with Mary, there came a point where it was like, oh, it's super relaxed now. You know, we get along better now than we did when we were married. I guess it's because we don't have any stress or pressure. And I think part of that stress and pressure that he was talking about was actually from him looking at Mary as something to do. Because when you categorize people and you separate them and you say, my friends are my friends and my wife or wives are people that I have to spend time with, it's easy to fall into the realm of they become a duty. They become a responsibility. It's something to do. Okay. If you grew up Catholic, I grew up Catholic. When you walk into the church, you dip into the holy water, you make the sign of the crucifixion, you walk over to the pew, you genuflect, you kneel down, you sign across and you sit down. That's just something you do. Half the people don't even know why you do it. But it's something you do. And if you see your relationship with your wife, you can just regiment your relationship with your wife down to just something that you do. I call her to make sure she's okay. I spend time with her. You know, we spend the quiet evenings together. I give her time. I ask her what's going on. We may share some financial information, but for the most part, I keep the greater part of me, the vulnerable side of me, the real me, secret and separate away from that relationship. And I think that that's what we see a lot of times with Kody and the OG3 with their relationships. And now it's kind of creeping in Robyn and Kody's relationship. And even some of this can be broken down as far as Kody's impression of the Manosphere. Okay, when we talk about the Manosphere, according to the guys in the Manosphere, women see men as resources. And if you are seen as a resource, or you think that your partner only sees you for what you can give them, then you're not going to trust them. I wouldn't. Why would I trust them? Because our relationship is transactional. And transactional relationships are transitory relationships, meaning that they're in and out. As soon as you get what you need from me, you're gone. That's the expectation. I don't expect a transitory or transactional relationship to breed loyalty and respect. It breeds the exchange. That's what the exchange is for. I don't care if I walk into a McDonald's and the guy behind the counter respects me, and I'm sure as hell not expecting him to be loyal to me if I hand him money and he hands me a sack of food. It's just not how it works. Like some relationships, you just don't have that high of expectation to. And if you have a relationship where you feel like you have to pay somebody to be your friend, or pay somebody to be with you, or listen to you, or care about you, then you have to understand that that is not a true relationship. Or I should say, it's not a romantic relationship. It's certainly not a marriage. So it's interesting for me to watch this person who we've seen since Aspen got married. He's a person that married Aspen, and he makes appearances on the show as Kody's best friend. It's interesting for me to see Kody interact with him, as well as the other gentlemen that they've brought onto the show, and see how lively and open Kody is to these guys. But then when we see Kody on the same screen with the wives or the people whom he's married to and shared children with, he doesn't seem to have the same on-screen chemistry that he does with these fellas. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think I'm on to something? Do you think I'm missing something? Are we just not being fair? Let me know in the comments down below. Leave your take. This is My Take, and I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living